All right, let's dive into the core wisdom of a book that's, believe it or not, over a century old, but its main idea feels more on point today than ever before. We're talking about James Allen's As a Man Thinketh, and it boils down to one simple yet incredibly powerful truth. Our lives are shaped completely from the inside out. So it all really kicks off with this one big question. And I want you to really think about this for a second. Who actually controls your life? I mean, is it your boss, the stock market, just random luck? Or maybe is the person calling the shots a whole lot closer to home? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into right now.
You know, it really comes down to seeing the world through one of two lenses. On one side, you've got fate and luck. This idea that we're basically just passengers on a ride, and all these external things are in the driver's seat. But then, there's the other side, thought. This is the idea that the real power, the control panel, is actually internal, and it's something we can learn to use.
And that leads us to the absolute foundation of this whole idea. Your life isn't just some random series of accidents. Nope. You are the architect. And your thoughts, those are the tools you're using, brick by brick, moment by moment, to build your reality.
Just think about how deep that really goes for a second. This isn't just about the stuff that happens to you. It's about who you fundamentally are. What this quote is saying is that every single habit, every reaction you have, your entire personality, it's all just the grand total of all the thoughts you've allowed to hang out in your mind.
Okay, so to really get a handle on how this works, let's use this really powerful metaphor. The mind is a mirror. What that means is the world you see on the outside, your relationships, your career, your challenges, it's all just a direct reflection of what's going on inside your head. We can even call this the mirror principle. And here's the deal with it. The circumstances of your life will always line up with your most dominant inner thoughts and feelings. That link? It's totally unbreakable. The words that come out of your mouth, the things you do, they don't just pop up out of thin air. They're literally a broadcast of what you're thinking on the inside. But, okay, we've got to make a super important distinction here. This is not about passive wishing. It is not just about thinking happy thoughts and hoping everything magically falls into place. No, it's all about that crucial, unbreakable link between what you're thinking and what you actually go out and do.
Yeah, let's be crystal clear on this. Your mind is not some kind of magic lamp. You can't just rub it, make a wish, and sit back and wait for it to be delivered. The true power of your thoughts is only unleashed when you channel it into real, purposeful, consistent action.
So how does a simple idea actually turn into your reality? Well, there's a pretty clear path. It all begins with a thought, just a little spark. If you nurture that thought, it grows into a real belief, a conviction. That belief is what fuels you to take action. And at the end of the day, it's those actions that build the circumstances of your life. So if our thoughts are this powerful, we have to recognize that they're basically a neutral tool, right? Think of a hammer. You can use it to build a beautiful house, or you can use it to smash everything to pieces. Your mind is the same, and the choice of how you're going to use it, that's on you every single day. I mean, just look at the two sides of this coin. On the one hand, you can use your thoughts to create things like joy and strength and peace. But that exact same mind, if you let it run wild, can turn into a factory for really destructive stuff, like constantly comparing yourself to others, crippling self-doubt and fear. You get to choose which side gets fed. This idea just completely flips the whole script on being a victim, doesn't it? It basically says that we are the ones who forge the bars of our own cages. So often, we're looking around for something outside of ourselves to blame for our limits, when really, it's our own thoughts and actions that are acting as the prison wardens, locking us in. And this whole thing operates on a universal law. You could call it sowing and reaping, or just plain old cause and effect. It's totally fair and it's totally predictable. If you plant seeds of hard work, diligence, and integrity, you're going to reap the rewards. But if you plant seeds of laziness, dishonesty, and inaction, well, the harvest is going to be just as predictable. The world pretty much gives you a fair return on what you put into it. Okay, so what's the ultimate payoff for getting a handle on this internal world? It's actually not just about success or achievement. It's about finding the real source of happiness and well-being. And, as we're about to see, it comes from a place you might not expect. Think about where we think happiness comes from. We spend so much of our time and energy trying to control all the stuff on the outside, right? Our job, our house, what people think of us. But look at this. All that external stuff
only accounts for a tiny piece of the pie. The huge majority, the real, lasting source of contentment, that comes from our inner world, our thoughts.
And this isn't just some philosophical, fluffy idea either. It's physical. It's real. A mind that's constantly weighed down by stress and negativity, it's going to lead to a weaker body. Modern science confirms this link more and more every single day. And the flip side is also true. Cheerful, positive, strong thoughts, they're literally some of the best medicine you can get.
So at the end of the day, it all boils down to this. You are the architect of your life. And if you're the architect, then your thoughts, they're the blueprint. Every single day, whether you realize it or not, you are actively designing the person you're going to be tomorrow.
So never ever forget this. That vision that you hold in your mind, that ideal that you place on a pedestal in your heart, that's not just a daydream. That is the instruction manual for your future. That is the person you are without a doubt becoming.
Which leaves us all with one last, really important question to ask ourselves. Based on the thoughts you've been having today, based on the vision you're holding on to right now, what blueprint are you building?